For this strategy, it's called breaking the object into basic shapes and forms. And that's where this comes into play. So with this strategy, we visualize the shapes that form the object. So that helps create the interior of the object. And this helps you fill in the interior and find the angles of the edges. So we can take most forms. We can take the basic form and actually use it to create a much more complex form. So for example, the cylinder, that can help us design this. The cylinder also can help us design the teapot. This rectangular prism helps us design that, right? From a box, from a cube, you can then draw all sorts of boxes. From the cone, you can use that to create all different types of drawings that use cones. Even to draw this Heinz tomato ketchup bottle, we can find the basic shapes and the forms that actually create it. Even to draw this dog, right? We are recognizing the shapes that create that dog, and that helps us fill everything in. Same thing here with this horse, right? You can actually draw the edges of the horse by breaking it down into simple shapes, then you build it up. So part of this is to train ourselves to think in 2 dimensions. We have to flatten out what we want to draw by breaking it down into simple shapes, right? Yes, this is a cat, but it's actually made of all these different shapes and forms. Now this video here does give you a great example. You are welcome to watch it if you want, but we're going to do a little demo. So we have this photograph of a horse, and we're going to break this down into shapes and forms. So I'm going to take a colored pencil here, and I notice that this part of the head, right, is very much like a triangle. The ears are like triangles. This top part of the head and the snout, you can actually use circles to create that. To create this section here, it's like a triangle. Now this whole area could be kind of like a big sausage, but this is a big circle here. So see, I'm just imagining the shapes I could use to actually build out these sections here. Even the joints in the animal, the different areas of the feet, can be made using circles. Now for the tail, again, kind of triangular, but it's also very geometric as well. So you can see how I'm literally breaking this up into different basic shapes and forms. So now it's your turn. So in each object, you're going to find the basic shapes and forms. For the front page, you're going to sketch on top of the photos. For the back page, you're going to actually create a contour drawing. So make sure you're following along with the video so you know what you need to do. So this is the front page of our exercise. So for each object, find the basic shapes and forms, sketch on top of the photos. So make sure you write your name on your paper. So we're literally just drawing on top. We do have this fuzzy plush stuffed animal, and then we have this red bell pepper. So for this object, right, obviously this area is a circle. So I'm going to draw using my pencil. The ears are kind of like big pointy almonds almost, or kind of like squished ovals perhaps. Obviously the nose is very circular. The eyes are circular as well. Even the mouth has a little bit of a triangle there. Now for the toes, they might be kind of hard to see, but they're just a bunch of circles. For the arms, they're like, again, big ovals here. So this can help us kind of figure out where to draw some of the features if we were to make a drawing of this. Now you're going to do this one on your own. Now this is the back side of your paper. So to sketch this object, first find the basic shapes and forms. Then use those shapes and forms to create a contour drawing of that object. Do not shade anything. So how can you do this? Well, you can, just like you did on the front page, you can actually draw the shapes that you need. You probably don't want to draw too dark, but you can find the shapes that are here. There's obviously a lot of ovals, a lot of circles, and you can use this to actually form the beginning of your drawing here. Now this little dude, this is actually supposed to be a mouse. It's kind of hard to tell. It's got a little circle there, little circle. Now the head is kind of like half here, and this is kind of like a triangle in some ways. So I drew my shapes on top of the drawing, but now I can actually use those shapes to actually build out my drawing. So again, this is just another strategy that we can use. And again, I'm starting pretty light. I have my eraser in case if I need to make any changes. And again, I'm just using these shapes that I drew. It's okay if you go outside the box, but we want to try to stay relatively proportional. And notice there is some negative space there, so don't fall for that. We gotta draw that negative space that is there. Now it's okay if you're using other strategies in your drawing, such as finding structural lines or noticing the like carving from a lump of clay. You can always use that method as well. But see how with these circles here, now I can actually start forming the thickness of that arm on this side here. So same thing with the foot. Now the foot is actually closer to us in the picture because the foot sticks out a little bit, and there's part of that body there. Now I realize I made this a little too narrow, so I'm going to fix this edge here. It does have this arm sticking up right over here. Again, I'm just starting really sketchy because I can come back in later to fix my edges. I don't want to start with super dark lines. And again, I'm just using this. Now I know this curves in, and I'm already noticing where the edges line up. Now, if you think your lines on your drawing are kind of messing you up, you can always go in and erase those a little bit. And my drawing is just about done. I think I need to draw in some of the edges here, and I probably need to fix this top part of the cap, sleeping cap that it's wearing. But again, we should have a mostly proportional drawing of this little statue with this mouse that is sitting on that part of its leg.